We are live. Let's get ready to podcast.
Fire it up.
Welcome back to another live and amplified indie fusion podcast. I'm your host, Tom Quiet, and we're back at it again with another amazing podcast. Today, we have a very special guest joining us. We have Jillian Bryant. How's it going?
Oh, it's so good. How's it going with you?
Oh, it's going pretty good. It's Saturday, so I can't complain.
Of course.
So,
same here.
Fair. So how's Oklahoma treating you?
Oh, it's good. It's so good. I love Oklahoma, and I love living here.
Born and raised in Oklahoma, or where are you from originally?
I'm originally from Missouri, actually.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice. I knew a lot of I went to school in Southern Illinois and went into Southeast Missouri a whole bunch. So yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Nice. So how long have you been in Oklahoma?
For about 4 years now. I moved here to go to school and also for music. So
how's the music scene you're in Stillwater, correct?
Yes.
How's the music scene there?
Oh, it's so good. It's so good. I really love the music scene here.
Nice. So you said you moved there for school and the music, or was it primarily school and then the music scene just kind of happened to keep you there?
All right. Well, I kind of discovered red dirt music when I was probably a freshman in high school.
Mm-hmm.
And it kind of opened my eyes to a type of music I didn't know existed.
Okay.
And I was super, super jazzed. And I heard Turnpike and Ragweed and Southall. And I was just like, oh, that's what I want to do. That's the type of music I want to make. And I had a pretty good idea of what the music scene kind of looked like in Stillwater. And I had some friends that were coming to school here. I grew up showing cattle too. So a lot of friends of mine were starting to come here, and I came and looked, and I fell in love with the school, and the music scene here is just a huge, huge plus. It's phenomenal.
Nice. So you had interest, you came for school, and then everything just kind of worked together.
Yes. Yeah.
Right. Nice. That's cool. I feel like Oklahoma and Texas are kind of the same in that way, where it's like there's so many music, not so much the last 5 years, because I feel like the pandemic kind of opened everything up a bit. But when I first moved here, and I lived out in New Mexico for about 4 years, so I got to know a lot of musicians that were doing things out in West Texas, and just musicians that were drawing these big crowds, but I'd never heard of them before. And it's it started to make sense. It's oh, Texas, and then even going up into Oklahoma, it's that's their route. They just go up into Oklahoma, do Texas, and they don't need to do nothing else. And they do a really good living doing that. So
yeah, that's a fact. That's a fact.
That's awesome. So how did you get introduced to music? Was that through your parents, something you found on your own, or yeah?
My mom always said I was singing before I could talk. Yeah, so I sang around our house a lot, and she got me into singing at church. And so I did that for a while and kind of just sang through school, did some musical theater stuff, and had some really, really great vocal coaches that I got to work with. And one specifically, Audra, she really, I was about 15, and she told me, she was like, girl, you can write a song. And I was like, Audra, I've always wanted to, but I don't know how to do it. I don't think I can do it. And she kind of walked me through the structure of what a song looks like. And I was like, oh, this is easier. Kind of whenever you break it up into a verse and a chorus, and if you want to add a bridge, that's fine, whatever. And she gave me a task and she put me to work. She was like, all right, next week you're going to have a song and you're going to sing it at this farmer's market. And by that time, I had taught myself guitar. So sure enough, I sang my first original at a farmer's market at 15, and then have just kind of been off to the races ever since.
That's awesome. I've seen some of the best musicians at farmers markets, but that is always a weird place to sit there and listen to music, especially depending on how the market is kind of set up, because it's they're always just kind of in the corner in between a couple of booths, and it's I feel weird just standing here listening, but it's kind of what you got to do if that's what you
Oh,
want
of
to do, you
course.
know? So
Yeah. Yeah.
it's always very bizarre, but then, you know, farmers markets have always kind of given me the insight to be like, "Oh, hey, this is somebody, yeah, they may be young or whatever, but they're doing something, so pay attention." So
Yeah. Yeah.
so
Yeah.
that was kind of your first exposure into live shows was farmers markets?
Yeah. Well, like I said, I had done a lot of musical theater stuff
Mm,
before, so I for sure wasn't scared of a crowd.
yeah.
And but yeah, that was the first time just Jillian Bryant live.
Nice. I love that. I love it so much. So then you graduate high school and then you move to Oklahoma to go to school. And are you,
Yeah,
were you playing music throughout school or was school more the priority and music kind of took a step back?
of course. So my freshman year, I was big into TikTok at the time, and I had made a lot of connections through that. And my freshman year, I was on a season of American Idol,
Mhm.
and I also met Wyatt Flores and kind of got in contact with J.R. Carroll, and they were in the music scene. And I was like, oh, this is really cool.
Mhm.
And so I've known them for quite a while,
Nice.
and they've been really, really awesome and kind.
Nice. I've not had a chance to have Wyatt on the podcast, but I've seen his name around a whole bunch and it's like got to make that happen at some point. So,
Yeah, you should. No,
yeah.
I've been super grateful for Wyatt. On my upcoming EP, we co-wrote a song together, so I'm super excited about that.
I love it. I love it. So, jumping into your EP, I want to talk about American Idol a little bit, but
Yeah, 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 go for it.
we'll get to that here in a second. But since you brought up the EP, how long's that kind of been in the process?
It's something I've been thinking about for a really long time. I've been in the studio before. I recorded some things in high school, and the songs they were good for what they were at the time. A lot of teenage angst, and um, I decided that if I wanted to put something out, I wanted it to be something I was super, super proud of, and I made the goal this year of trying to write the best that I could and to put out something that I could be proud of and that I think would kind of stand the test of time and also cater to the audience that I've kind of built. And that's exactly what I did. Wrote a little 6 song EP.
Nice. And are you going to release some singles off of it, or what's kind of the release plan for it?
Absolutely. So the plan right now, I think, is to do 2 singles
Mhm.
off of it and then to release the whole thing.
Nice. And is that primarily going to be on Spotify, or are you thinking doing more like hard releases, like hard copy releases?
I think primarily right now it's kind of gonna hit Apple Music and
Mm,
Spotify, but if the demand is there for hard copies, I'll make them.
nice. You know, it's one of those things where it's like that's always a hard conversation to have because it depends on like how much you're out playing live, like doing
Yeah,
live shows. It's like
yeah,
for me, it's like if you're a musician and you're playing 5 times a week and it's not the same 5 bars every week, go
yeah,
ahead and print hard copies because you're in front of a new audience. But if you're
yes,
playing the same shows week in, week out, it's like, maybe not. So,
yeah, for sure.
but you know, there's thought processes to that whole thing. So,
Oh, of course.
nice.
Yeah.
So have you announced any like release dates, or are you kind of trying to get everything lined up with the EP and then you'll kind of start figuring that out?
For sure. I haven't announced any release dates as of yet and
Mm,
haven't hit promo super hard for it, but kind of waiting for more ducks to be in a row
mm,
before I announce a hard date. I'm thinking hopefully the end of May
nice.
is when I'm shooting for that first single to be out. But yeah.
That'll be fun. So when you're doing your shows, are you coming down into Texas a lot, or are you pretty much stay up in Oklahoma?
This year is kind of the first year that I've really hit playing live super heavy.
Mm,
In high school, it was every weekend, all the time. And then school and show cattle kind of took the priority for a
okay.
while. And this year, I've really given music the time that it deserves. And I'm happy that I'm dipping into Texas here in 2 weeks, I think. Yeah.
Nice. Nice, nice. I'm guessing you're going to like Denton, staying a little bit more north of Dallas and stuff like that.
I'm going to Stephenville.
Oh shit.
Even,
Okay.
yeah.
Not far from
Stephenville for,
not far from me then. So
yeah.
that's awesome. A lot of people don't know where Stephenville is, so the fact that you just kind of threw that out randomly, it's like, oh, okay. So that's awesome. So let's backtrack a little bit. I want to talk about. I mentioned I wanted to talk about American Idol because I don't. It's
Yeah.
always like a weird thing to talk about because it. I don't know. It's just one of those things. Was this during the pandemic that you did Idol, or was this like the season after the pandemic season?
It was like the pandemic season. I
Uh,
was on season 20,
Okay.
and in Oklahoma everything had kind of gotten back to normal.
Mhm.
So I was used to just going to school and doing whatever. I think occasionally we had masks and that sort of deal, but at Idol we got there and I only got to take one person. I took my
Mhm.
mom, and we were all staying in this hotel and we got like COVID tested the minute we were there. Masks were on at all times unless we were filming. So it was pretty intense. Yeah.
Gotcha, guy. But it wasn't that. Was it Idol or was it The Voice where they had that weird season where they did everything from the people's living room?
I don't know. I don't think it was Idol.
Okay. Idol may have
Yeah.
been because I think that was because Idol usually runs in the summer, so it may have been had cut some stuff under control by that point. So
Yeah.
that's that's interesting. So how how did you get involved with Idol? Was that something you were actively auditioning for, or did you kind of just get invited? How did that kind of play out?
Yeah, the story for this is actually kind of crazy. Um, so at the time, I had like a TikTok following of maybe 42,000
Mhm.
at the time, and someone had reached out to me via email, and it was for American Idol, and of course I was like, this is spam. Like, there's no
Right.
way. There's no way that producers are reaching out, and I got a few of them, and I was like, oh, this is like. If this is real, that's really cool that they're asking me to come and do this. And I kind of let some time pass and took some time to think about if that's something that I wanted to do. I've never really wanted to do reality TV, but if the opportunity was going to present itself, then
Yeah.
I may as well. And I let some time pass. And one day I got a call from, I didn't know who it was at the time. And it was this guy, and I can't think of his name for the life of me, but he asked me and was like, "Hey, you're Jillian Bryant." And I was like, "Yes, sir, that's correct." And he was like, "Well, he ended up being super high up in like the chain of command
Hmm.
of Idol. And he was like, "I really think you need to do this. We're having auditions tomorrow, have 4 songs ready." And I was like, "Okay, I can do that for sure." And at that point, the the preliminary auditions, they were on Zoom. And I kind of sat on Zoom. My Zoom did not work. I don't know if it was dorm Wi-Fi, whatever was going
Hmm.
on. It just wasn't going. And I called that guy again, and I was freaking out. I was like, this is my shot that I'm missing. I'm not gonna miss it. And I called him again, and he was like, "Okay, I've sent you a new link." And he sent me this link, and it took me straight to like the end of the auditions. And I guess people had been sitting on there for hours. And I was like straight to the end. I sang for one lady, and she told me that I was auditioning in front of the judges. So,
Wow.
yeah.
Wow. That's luck, that's fate, that's all the things combined,
Oh,
just kind of
yeah.
playing out in
Oh,
one.
yeah.
Yeah. It's like,
For sure.
man, I couldn't imagine the butterflies like realizing, like, oh, I just I mean, at the end of the day, that's kind of luck at that point, like
Oh,
skip.
100%.
So,
Yeah.
oh, but so you made it on, and then did you make it to the TV rounds, or how far did you end up going through Idol?
Yeah, so it's kind of like the first round, I guess you could say. It's like the episode before you go to Hollywood.
Mm-hmm.
And that year they were doing it, they asked me, they were like, "Well, do you want to do it in Tennessee, LA, or Austin?" And I was like, "Oh, I kind of know Texas. I'll take me to Austin. That'll be fine." And they, sure enough, they sent me the plane ticket, had my family drive out, and to Austin we went not long ago.
Oh,
Yeah.
nice, nice, nice. That's, you know, it's so funny because they sent you a plane ticket, but in reality, probably driving would have been just as quick
So, yeah.
because what'd you have to do? Drive up to Oklahoma City or drive down to Dallas or
Yeah, OKC, I think is
yeah.
where I flew out of.
Okay. And it's like at that point, it'd have been probably quicker just driving because it's what,
Probably.
yeah. So, anyways, no, that's cool. So, what did you take any like lessons away from your experience on Idol or anything like that?
Yeah, absolutely. Like I said, I was just kind of a 19-year-old kid and I didn't really like know for sure what I was doing. I was just like, I got these songs memorized and we're gonna give it our best go and see what happens. But I met a lot of really incredible people. The friend group that I formed on Idol, I'm still friends with to this day. Skyly Thompson, she's great. If you've ever heard of her, she's phenomenal. You should check her out. Um, but they were great. We kept each other entertained while we were all in our masks, sitting like 6 feet apart. And auditioning was crazy. I'm not really one to get nervous, but when Ryan Seacrest was talking to me before I went in, I was like, oh Lord, this is gonna this is gonna be something that's just a new level for me. And walking into that room is kind of a surreal experience, but they were super kind, super kind. It was Katy Perry, Lionel Richie, and Luke Bryan that
Okay.
were in there.
Gotcha. So
Yeah.
it was kind of that the iconic coaches from the I guess like the post pandemic relaunch or whatever it was because
Yes. Yeah.
um yeah I because like when American Idol relaunch or had their relaunch or whatever it was it's like okay so these are the new guys and that's cool that's yeah
Yeah. Yeah, they were super kind. And at the time I sang Rolling Stone by Lainey Wilson, but at that point no one knew who Lainey Wilson was.
right
So and my backup song was a Cat Hasty song.
nice I was
Yes.
I was going to ask what you sang but no, that's Lainey Wilson is the perfect choice because like you said around that was 2020 2021 she was just starting to get some
Yes. Yeah.
notoriety because Yellowstone
Yeah.
was really starting to pick up and I think at least that's how I got introduced to her which sounds really bad to say but you know so
For sure.
yeah
Yeah, I got introduced to her kind of just finding her on Spotify,
yeah
and I really loved that Rolling Stone song and I was like, "Oh, I can sing this. This will be
nice
good."
nice nice
And yeah, and I went in there and I sang it, and Katy Perry, she kind of grilled me a little bit. I'm not gonna lie to you, which was kind of hard for me because I she was the first song on my iPod.
hmm
Um, for sure. So she grilled me a little bit and was like, "Well, I don't know this song. Whatever." And I was like, "Oh gosh, okay." And it's like, "Oh, I have an original or I have a Cat Hasty song." And they're like, "I'll just skip it, like just do the Cat Hasty song." And so I did that. And Luke Bryan said yes. He was like, you're kind of rough around the edges still, like not too wet behind the ears,
yeah
but I'll give you a yes. And Lionel Richie, the feedback he gave me, it's a good day whenever Lionel Richie tells you, "Girl, you can sing."
yeah
Yeah, that was super cool. But then it got down to Katy Perry, and she gave me some incredibly critical but really good
yeah
advice. She looked and she was like, "I don't get your look. I don't think that you have a super well developed sound. I think that you're so young and that you kind of need to find yourself as an artist before we get you out anywhere else."
hmm
And of course I was like, dreams crushed. I was like, I don't know if I need to be doing this. Maybe I don't, maybe I'm not cut out for it. And I got back and I was like, you know what? She didn't tell you that you were bad at it.
hmm
She just said that like you needed to find yourself. And she was right. I was like, whatever. I know myself. This is fine. And the more I got to thinking about it, the more I was like, I haven't really developed my sound and I haven't done that, but I'm super proud to say that I really think I have.
Yeah.
And I took that advice and ran with it.
Nice. You know what though? That just shows your maturity as a musician because it's like a lot of people would have went into that situation, took it all as a negative, like, oh, I'm not cut out to do this or whatever because I don't know who I am as a musician. And you were just like, okay, and you figured it out.
Yeah. Yeah.
Congratulate, so
Thank
it's
you. Yeah.
it's what it's like. It's a really hard thing to hear, but at the time when you're 19, you think you know everything, but
Oh, yeah.
reality you don't. And somebody told you, hey, like this is what I think, and you took it, ran with it, and now here you are. So
Yeah. Yeah.
that's awesome. So you get out of American Idol, and did you have any like initial bump in your music, or was it just kind of like, okay, take the experience from Idol and now let's keep moving forward?
Yeah. So whenever I got back, it was interesting to kind of transition into school again. I had
Hmm.
been gone for I think a week and a half. I had to tell my advisor that I was going to American Idol, so that within itself was crazy. She looked at me like I had two heads. But they were great. Everyone at OSU was phenomenal, and I kind of just got back in the swing of things. But I did let what she said get to me for a good long while. I probably didn't touch a guitar for maybe like 6 months. I'm
Nice.
not gonna. I was like, I really don't know where to go from here. And then I kind of got back into the swing of things that summer and went home and played, made TikToks, but it's really been this year that I decided to really kind of give it my best go, I would
Right.
say.
Right. That's cool. I dig it. It's now's the time because are you out of school or are you just getting ready to wrap up school?
Yeah, I'll graduate in May.
Nice. Yeah, now's the time. Like if you're coming fresh out of college, if you're gonna try and take a run at it, go for it.
Yeah, that was my thought process for sure.
Nice. So are you still showing cows and all that stuff, or is that kind of something that you do on the side? Where's that kind of come
Yeah,
into
yeah,
play?
yeah. I've done my fair share of working at operations through college. I'm blessed to work on the ranch that I do now. It's in northern Oklahoma, and it's beautiful, and the people there are so wonderful. So it's nice to get away there. Um, Whenever I can, if I have a free weekend, I'll go. But I wrapped up my showing career last last year, I
Mhm.
believe, and my sister's kind of about to be done with it.
Nice.
But yeah.
Nice. Is it so? Is this about the time that most people stop showing, or is there like a whole nother like aspect to it that it was just like, yeah, I'm not ready for that one?
Oh, so in Oklahoma, you age out of local shows at 18, but in Missouri, it's 21.
Mm-hmm.
So I got to kind of show locally in Missouri, and then nationally, it's the same age where you
Okay.
age out at 21.
Gotcha. I didn't know
Yeah.
if like nationally you could just kind of keep going, but that takes a whole different type of commitment. And it's like, yeah, I'm good. So
Yeah, yeah, no. We've been showing nationally for quite a while, and we've been super blessed to have um a little bit of success at the national level.
nice. Nice. That's really cool. Now, would you, is this at like county fairs and stuff or state fairs and stuff like that? Or is it like actual like standalone competitions and stuff like that?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I started showing sheep at our county fair. I think I was 14 maybe. And so we kind of hit the county fair thing pretty hard. And then we started doing these different jackpot shows. There's different circuits that you can get on. And then we started seeing some success at state fair, and we got encouraged to go. Every breed association has a junior national,
Mm-hmm.
and we got encouraged to go to junior national shows. And I really got involved with the Kianina Association, the mains and keys. That those are my people.
Yeah.
I was on the junior board there, the junior national board, and I've had a phenomenal experience with it. It's taken me to Denver, to Kansas City.
Nice.
We've been to them all.
Nice. That's really cool. I have very little experience with this side of the world, but
Yeah.
I just remember when I was younger, I grew up in Chicago and
Yeah.
my grandparents lived in Northern Illinois, and they would take us out to their brothers, and so like my great uncles, they lived out like on the border of Illinois and Iowa, and
Okay.
so they would show like pigs and sheep, and they would do all that.
Yeah.
And so that's like really my only experience with it when we'd go to the county fair, and they'd be like, "Oh, here's my pig, or here's my sheep, or here's my
Oh
whatever,"
yeah.
you know. So yeah.
Oh, that's fair. Yeah. I'm the fourth generation in my family to do it. My great grandpa, my grandpa, my grandma, um, my mom, they all took their run at it.
Hmm.
My grandpa's got some wicked cool stories. He worked for a ranch, an Angus Ranch in Missouri,
Nice.
and they did their fair share of winning. They showed at the Cow Palace in California. They won in Vegas. He was on a platform with like showgirls with their champion heifer, and out in Denver one year, he was in some backdrop picture. They had won something, and he's got this picture that was like Rex Allen and Miss
Hmm.
America and me.
Nice. That's
Yeah.
that's awesome. So where about in Missouri are you from?
I'm just outside of like Fulton area.
Okay.
So right off of 70, like smack in the middle of Missouri.
Okay, I got you. I got you. I know southern Missouri because that's what I drive through the most. So
Yeah.
I almost got there was a meth head in Joplin that wanted to fight me for some reason, and I was just like, because I refused to give him a lift somewhere, and
Yeah,
traveling through, and I was like, I'm not getting involved with this. So
that tracks.
yeah,
That tracks.
yeah,
Yeah.
it was like really like I don't know, whatever. So
Yeah.
oh, so you've got when's your Stephenville show? Is that you said a couple weeks or
It is the week after this coming one. I think the 18th and the 19th. I'm
okay?
playing the Greenwood Saloon and then Lucky Vines. It's a winery down there.
Nice. I will have to see if I can check that out because
Yeah.
I think Stephenville is about an hour from me, maybe not quite, but
Okay.
I live in Waco, so yeah,
Oh, I gotcha. Yeah.
yeah. No, that's really cool. And so, is this is this like your first attempt to come in, or not attempt to come into Texas, but like your first big show in Texas, or
Yeah.
nice?
So I'm very stoked about it.
That's sick. That's sick. And then of course you've got the EP coming out. Hopefully, I'm assuming probably by the end of the year. Is that kind of the goal, or
Oh yeah.
okay?
I think the EP will probably be
Okay,
a
gotcha.
summer release, I would say.
Nice. That's really cool. So outside of music, obviously you're finishing up school and whatnot. What do you like to do to kind of decompress outside of music?
Oh gosh, usually music is how I decompress, to be honest with
Fair,
you.
very fair.
But like I said, I go and do some ranch work every now and again, and that's kind of nice just to get out of Stillwater for a little bit because I didn't grow up in a town. We didn't have a bunch of neighbors. It
Mhm.
was kind of just we were out there and we had our cows and we'd work with them and I'd go to school and that's what life kind of looked like. And so it's nice to kind of get out back into the middle of nowhere
Fair.
and yeah, and just be with the friends and do some ranch working.
Nice, nice. It's there's something about just being out in the stick. I call it being out in the sticks, and
Yeah.
it's just one of those things where it's like there's something to it. I enjoy it. So
Oh no, yeah, it's incredible. And that spot where we're at, it's right by the Gloss Mountains in Oklahoma. So you wake up in that barn and you go downstairs and the sun's like coming up and there's just these like mesa looking mountains and it's beautiful.
yeah, for sure, for sure.
Yeah.
So kind of looking forward. You got your show in a couple weeks down here in Stephenville. Are
Hmm.
you starting to book out the rest of your summer, like post graduation, or are you kind of like let's get through finals and then we'll worry about it from there?
Yeah, so I had done a lot of thinking about if I wanted to book out summer. I kind of didn't really know where I was going to move, if
Mm,
I wanted to stay in Stillwater, if I didn't. So I left my summer a little freed up.
mm,
There's still time to book things, of
yeah,
course, but kind of just figuring out where I want to live and finishing this EP. That's my
right.
main goal is to graduate and then really get that wrapped up and where I want it to be. And then I think I'll kind of worry about where to go from there. But yeah.
Awesome, awesome. So, if, for people that want to check out your music as it comes out, shows, social media, all that fun stuff, where's the best place to find you?
Of course. I'm pretty active on Instagram. A lot of announcements come from there. It's Jillian X Bryant. And then on TikTok as well, I try to go live like every Sunday, and that's Jillian.Bryant on TikTok. But you can kind of find me everywhere. I have a YouTube. It's kind of ancient, but hopefully we'll revive her soon.
Hey,
But
that
yeah.
that's how I found your music. Was
Oh, no way.
I actually, well, technically, it was I was connected to you through Corey Woolderidge. I had him on the podcast last
Okay.
week. I'm guessing it's like an Oklahoma connection because he lives out in Oklahoma as well. Um, and he's how I got introduced to you on Instagram. And I couldn't find you
Oh,
on
no way.
Spotify, and so I just typed in your name on in Google or whatever, and your YouTube popped up, and I'm like, okay, perfect. That's what I wanted to see. So
Oh, no way. That's super kind of him. That's really cool.
nice. So kind of looking forward, staying busy, graduating. Hopefully that goes by quicker than you imagine because you got like what, a month left or so.
Oh gosh, yeah. There's a lot that has to be done in this month, but
Okay.
I'm super excited. Super excited. Yeah, all the songs turned out exactly like I wanted them. The one that I wrote with Wyatt, I'm super excited about. I wrote one with my boyfriend too,
Mm.
and and they're good. They're very good. And I'm not one to listen to my own music over and over again, but there's a few of these that I'll listen to in the car.
Nice. I love it. Hey, it speaks. So,
Yeah.
uh, but once again, I do want to thank you so much for joining us. It's been an absolute blast.
Yeah, of course. Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah. And thank you everybody for tuning in, and we will catch y'all later.